So, it's the end of yet another week, and here on this channel that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you the viewers to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week there has been more action every night, with a few big matchups going down, more rumors of trades possibly coming on the horizon, the standings are starting to shake out, and we're starting to get a good picture of where things are going, so we definitely have plenty to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, PrizePicks. As the new NBA season continues on, PrizePicks is the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy to stay engaged on all of the excitement. All you have to do is pick between 2 and 5 players and the over or under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times your original entry. Choose between points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers made, fantasy points, and more, plus you can even make mixed sports entries, so if you happen to be a fan of football, baseball, soccer, or anything else, PrizePicks has you covered. When you play at PrizePicks, you're also not competing against anyone else, it's simply you versus the projections available. As for the picks I'm looking at making for tonight's slate of games, I'm thinking of going with Anthony Edwards to grab over 4.5 rebounds, Kyle Kuzma to score over 19.5 points, and Kristaps Porzingis to make over 1.5 threes. By going down to the link in the description of this video and using promo code REFERENCE when you sign up, you also get a deposit match bonus of up to $100. Once again, thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. The first take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Camden, and he says that Steph Curry actually has a pretty good case for the MVP this season despite the Warriors' early struggles. One of the most baffling parts about the Warriors' start to this season is not only the fact that they're sitting in 11th place in the Western Conference standings after winning the finals last year, but it's the fact that they're doing so while Curry is absolutely balling out on a nightly basis. Curry is averaging about 33 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists per game, all of which are career highs for him, and he's doing at his normal elite efficiency. Now, do we actually expect him to maintain that kind of insane production over the course of 82 games? Probably not, but at the same time, this Warriors team isn't necessarily as stacked top to bottom as they have been in the past, and they will be relying on Curry much more than they have, so I wouldn't anticipate a huge drop-off to his numbers by any means. As for his MVP case, Curry is obviously a former winner of the MVP award, so it's not like he's a newcomer to these conversations or anything like that. Curry's production right now is absolutely worthy of MVP shouts, but the issue, as they stated, is that MVPs of the league do not come from teams that aren't winning games. The Warriors need to turn their season around quickly if Curry wants to have a legitimate case here, so then the question becomes whether they're capable of doing so or not. I think there are real reasons for concern with this year's Warriors squad compared to ones in the past, such as their younger guys not being quite ready for the big roles that they're being thrust into, Klay Thompson is just simply not the player that he used to be, and obvious tensions between Draymond Green still lingering. But despite all of that, I'm fully expecting them to work their way out of this funk as the year goes on. The Warriors were very clear at the beginning of the year that they're not planning on playing their main guys heavy minutes early, and their bench is currently playing more minutes than they will later in the year. The bench unit has also been one of the worst in the NBA this year, as the Warriors get over 20 points worse per 100 possessions when they're out there. The starting lineup, on the other hand, has been dominating the opposition, and all of that tells me that they'll be fine as the season goes on, and it very well could result in Curry getting legitimate MVP buzz. The next take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Jonah, and he says that this year's Trailblazers team is the best roster that Damian Lillard has ever had around him in his entire career. There are quite a few teams this season that are off to surprisingly strong starts, and the Blazers are definitely one of them. Prior to this season starting, there were question marks about Lillard himself after an injury-riddled season last year. We weren't sure if they were going to be able to get enough stops on defense with this roster makeup, and offensively, the absence of CJ McCollum left a lot of questions. Flash forward back to the present, and they're sitting in third place in the Western Conference standings, playing a consistently competitive brand of basketball with impressive wins over the Heat, Suns, and Nuggets. Not only is Lillard back playing like his former prime self, but it's been a complete team effort. Anthony Simons and Jeremy Grant are providing ample help in the scoring department, both averaging over 20 points per contest. Jusuf Nurkic is holding down the middle very well on both ends of the floor while averaging a double-double. Josh Hart's been an excellent two-way role player, crashing the glass hard on the wing, and so on. I originally thought the Blazers would be a play-in team, but honestly, now that I've seen them play about a month of basketball, I like their chances to solidify themselves firmly as a playoff team. But does that make them the best roster of the Lillard era? I'm still skeptical there. The Blazers have been in the conference finals before, and have had dangerous offenses in the past. The one area this year's Blazers team actually has the edge is on the defensive end though, as they rank as the 7th best defense in the league so far. There's still a lot of basketball left to be played, but I'll end it by saying that this team is definitely a lot better than most originally thought. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Humor, and they say that the case of Lauri Markkanen proves that any top 100 NBA player can look like an all-star if they're given the green light to be the go-to guy on a team. I just discussed the Trailblazers as a team outperforming all expectations in a surprising way, but no team is doing that more so than the Jazz this year. The most impressive part is that the Jazz are doing it without a legitimate or established star leading the way for them, and Lauri Markkanen's been the one breaking out, potentially emerging into that status. Prior to this year, Lauri has had a pretty up and down career, never really giving anyone real reason to believe that he was a star in the making. He's just been a fairly average shot maker despite being a 7-footer with a smooth shooting stroke. Basketball is a game all about confidence, and sometimes you just need to be in a situation where everyone around you believes in you in order to flourish, which is exactly what Markkanen has now. With all of that being said though, I do still disagree with the original take, saying that anyone who is even above average in the NBA could be a star in the right situation. Markkanen is breaking out and helping his team win games. Sure, a lot of NBA players could put up big numbers if given the opportunity, but for a lot of them, it would come at the expense of their team's success. The talent level in the NBA is at an all-time high, and a lot of guys are definitely capable of scoring about 20 points a night, but that doesn't just make you a star anymore. Doing so while impacting the game positively and playing winning basketball is what separates you, and that's where Markkanen's emergence differs from most. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes we discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.